Hi, I'm Tyson,
I'm Matt.
and this is the Copper Lodge. No, Matt. So, or not Matt. I apologize. So, Nick is asking if I'm actually hosting from Disneyland. So, I will be on Wednesday.
That's
Today,
awesome.
I've been driving. We woke up at 4 o'clock, Matt, in the morning, and left our house at 4:30 in the morning. I did that so my kids could sleep, and so it didn't seem like such a long road trip. But we're still
That's how
not
we
there,
travel.
so we've been driving for about 12 hours.
Oh, that's the worst.
We have about 40 minutes to go, and then we're at our hotel. I'm going to let them swim, get in the hot tub. I'm actually meeting up with some people from the bearded community, and we're going to go dinner at Disney. What is it called? It's Disneyland, but
Disney,
it's like where all the restaurants are and stuff like that.
right?
Downtown Disney. So anyway, so everyone, this is Matt. We're going to talk to Matt a little bit about, and he's going to get to know who everyone is, and I'm excited for this. He is exceptional at woodworking, say the least. You guys should see the project that he's doing right now. If you're not following him, definitely go on IG and YouTube. And everything, all his information is found below in the bio. But what we usually do, Matt, is just we usually come and say hi to everyone. So this is Aldemir.
Hey,
Aldemir's in Hawaii, so I'm a little jealous.
oh yeah, I bet.
Right? Hey, what are you doing, Bearded Ninja? How you doing? Has anyone been feeling like something big is going to happen soon? What are you talking about? And this is Casey. Casey, I don't know if you've met Casey before, but Casey has recently got into Copper Johns as well, so he's part owner. And this is Josh. How you doing, Josh? And Brett. Brett's one of the closest guys I know. He's a stud. He's a veteran and all that. Jason Esser, he
I
watches
know
you
Jason.
religiously,
I know Jason.
and he actually is the one who made my soap holders, soap dishes, as well
Oh, okay.
as my holders for my beard products.
Nice.
So I sell those, and he actually made them. So he's really good. Yeah, this is what he says. You are all in for a treat. Matt is a pure heart and a large YouTube channel. He is willing to show and teach you. Teach what? Sorry, this phone is
It's
tiny.
all right.
What he can do in the woodworking industry. He has many tips, tricks, and an awesome dude. Absolutely.
Thank you, Jason.
And there we go. There's this guy. He's what he Ryan and Josue. We're actually meeting. Ryan's actually picking me up, and we're going to go meet Josue. So I'm excited. And then we got Bill. I actually just went to lunch with him a couple days ago. I know all these guys. What can I say? Mr. Bearded Pepper Chef, how you doing, buddy? Well, let's get going. If you guys have any questions, please put a Q by it so that we can ask Matt that question. You can ask him pretty much anything. He's an open book from what I understand. And if I miss it, again, it's because I'm on my phone. So just keep asking. So first, Matt, why don't you tell us a little about who you are and, what you do?
I'm a full-time YouTuber. It's kind of odd for me to even say it out loud, but I've been doing it since May. No, it's awesome. I've been so blessed. Have a supportive wife who was like, go for it, and pretty much telling me the whole time I should do it when we started talking about it. But before that, I was a state trooper for 13 years and a dispatcher too before that. So I was about 15 years with the state police here in Arkansas. My wife and I have been married for 21 years, going on 22.
That's awesome.
Coming up this year in July. So, yeah, I've been blessed.
That's awesome. Yes, you have. There's not a lot of people who can say they've been married that long and still like their spouse.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's just we're like we was talking earlier. We're best friends. If she goes somewhere, 99.9% of the time I go somewhere. I don't go somewhere and do things without her. Usually, like if I'm there, she's there, kind of thing. So
yeah,
that's just the way we've always been, and it's just we've best friends. She is my best friend, and I'm her best friend. So it's kind of,
that's awesome.
It just makes it work.
I'm definitely going to be asking you about her here shortly, because even when you do your lives, so to me, I've seen a lot of people do lives on YouTube and stuff like that, but I've never seen them do as a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is crazy awesome. If I could get my wife to do that, I would. Because
when we started, it was a little awkward for both of us because we'd never done live stream before, and she had done a couple of videos on YouTube, but she don't really care to do those. And then we started live; she was all in on it, and she has been.
Michael P is one of your huge followers as well.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah, I just remember him saying that, and then we got Mr. Vato. Vato was hilarious, just so you know. And Mr. Gabe, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
So I just think that's cool. I've been actually thinking about doing a separate YouTube channel, and I kind of want to talk about like world religions. One of my favorite classes of all time was a religion class talking about world religions, and in college. And I'm like, I want to make a separate channel where I can just talk about religion.
That would be interesting. I'd be interested in that.
It's amazing just how many good people are out there and what they believe and all that kind of stuff, and how similar everything is. But so you were an Arkansas State Patrol officer for what, 15 years, like you said. So what made you want to be with the police?
It's a calling, man. I've always felt like I was called to do certain things. I was a fireman for a few years before that. I felt like God opened all the doors for me to step into that. I'd been working for my dad's construction company, and they were going belly up pretty fast. And so I knew I had to find something else to do. And that job, my wife and I was praying about it, and that job just opened its doors. And I was just looking in the paper one day, back when we had newspapers, I was looking in the paper, and the classified is like classified ad for a full-time fireman in Warren, Arkansas, a little old bitty place. And I was like, hey, that'd be cool. And my wife happened to know the lady that worked for the mayor, so she called over there and got me an interview, and the rest is history. So, and that actually led me in. Yeah, that actually led me into law enforcement, because I was a fireman in a small town. You don't do a whole lot. You just wash the truck and kind of sit there and look at it, And so we was sitting there. I just get bored, and I just sit there all the time. And a dispatcher's position come open with the state police, and it was paying quite a bit more than what I was making as a fireman. And because I had been a fireman, is the only reason they hired me as a dispatcher, is because I had that that experience on talking on the radio and stuff like that. So it kind of opened the doors for that. And then, of course, when I got there, I started seeing what the troopers did, and I was like, I got to do that. So I knew God was calling me to do that. And we prayed about it and fasted over it, and I just trusted his leadership, and he opened the door for me to go through that.
That's awesome. So, as a first responder, as a highway patrolman, what's like because I have some friends, because I work in on base at Hill Air Force Base in Utah, and a lot of them were ex military police. A lot of them did police after they served and all that kind of stuff. And some of the stories they tell me are hilarious. So, like, what's the funniest thing you've ever seen, or that type of thing?
Well, one of my partners and I were on a checkpoint. We laugh about this every time we get together. But this guy come through a sobriety checkpoint, and he was very intoxicated. And I get him out and do the standardized field sobriety on him, and was going to arrest him. And when I put the cuffs on him, he kind of went to pull away from me. So I just pushed him over the hood of the car. And when I did, he messed his pants, like crapped all over himself. And it was like instant. I smelled it, and it just made me mad. I was like, "You just pooped your pants," like that. And my buddy, you can see him on camera. He turns around, and you can just see him just belly laughing. He's laughing his head off at me, because he knows I got to ride to jail with that guy. And I did, all the way to jail. And he's like, it was cold. He's like, "Can you roll the windows up?" I was like, "Not happening."
Have you ever seen what is it, Reno 911?
Oh yeah, I love that show. I love that show.
When they were pulled over someone who was intoxicated, it was like hip thrust, tut, 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 doing all the dances and stuff. I'm like, dude, it's one of the funniest shows ever. But what's the craziest story? Like, what's the thing that, like, holy crap, that really happened?
There's like chases and things like that, you're like, you can't believe people act the way they do or think the way they think or why they're doing things. Like you'll get somebody that goes on a 10-mile pursuit for a suspended license. You're like, what are you doing? Like, that's not even like I wouldn't arrest them and just get a ticket, have somebody come pick them up. It's not a huge deal. I'm like, what do you just made a huge deal out of nothing and just stuff like that. And you wind up getting the same people. We're in a small town, about 10,000 people in this town, about 20,000 in the county. The only thing is this has a college in it, so you get a lot of college kids, and it's really the biggest town around, so everybody kind of comes here to do their shopping and things. So you just get people from out of town, but it's just you get the same offender over and over and over doing the same thing, whether it be drugs or alcohol or stuff like that. It's just kind of you get to know who you're dealing with all the time.
Jason goes, I feel as though Matt has stories for days when he was a state trooper. There's got to be some things that you're just like, dude, really? And then there's got to be some of those stories that just break your heart. Things that could have easily been prevented. My wife is, she went to, right now, we have 6 children and they're all home still. And so that's a lot of time out of her day, taking care of them and stuff like that. But she eventually wants to do foster care and work with children less fortunate and stuff like that. I've gone through things, and when she was getting her degree in that, I'm like, holy crap! Don't tell me all these stories because it's so depressing.
Man, as a state trooper here in Arkansas, we don't do a whole lot of domestic calls, but we are an assisting agent, or they are now. They are an assisting agency by law. So if a county or city officer needs some help, or even if you hear it on the radio, I would always go if I was close and see if I could just back them up. And so you come across situations like that where the mom and dad, or just mom or just dad, was, intoxicated or impaired, or the kids are living in, like, you wouldn't believe the conditions they're living in. That stuff will break your heart, man.
Yeah. So I grew up in foster care. She's a hero. See, that's awesome. That's why I'm grateful for people who are willing to do that. I told Candace, I'm like, you have in Utah, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but we're not allowed to, they have to have an individual room. They can't be sharing a room with anyone else. And with that many kids and with our house, we just don't have a separate room by ourselves. So what's up, Mr. Brewer City? Everyone's just talking hi, man. So, what's the funniest thing you've ever heard to get out of a ticket when you got pulled someone over?
I
really want to know these answers because I've never really got to.
One of the funniest things I ever heard, and I'd never heard it before when he told me, is to stop the guy. And we're kind of in our area, it's kind of hilly, trees everywhere. And he's from the Delta when I stopped him. And the Delta is, if you don't know, it's just flat. You can see for days. So I stopped him for speeding, and he goes, he said, man, I'm sorry. And I was like, what's your hurry? He said, I didn't realize I was going that fast. He said, where I'm from, you can see your dog run away for 3 days. And I just thought that was hilarious. And so I was like, man, get out of here. I was letting
go. What else? I'm just kind of curious. Have you ever had a guy or a girl hit on you?
Oh, yeah.
Try to get out of the ticket?
Yeah. Is it? Or cry. A bunch of them try to cry. And that was an automatic ticket. As soon as you pull them over there crying, men and women, nah, you're done.
Really?
Yeah. I had one time that I don't know, he was about 17, 18 years old. Maybe he's probably a little older than that. They were college kids. Pulled him over for speeding. He was flying like close to 100. And get up there and start talking to him, and he just starts crying like violently wailing, crying like he was crying. And his buddy's sitting in the passenger seat just laughing at him. And I'm like, man, you better suck that up. I said, your buddy's over laughing at you. You're never going to hear the end of this. Never. You're sitting there crying over a speeding ticket. And I was like, man, you got to grow up a little bit. I said, you're old enough to do the crime. You're going to pay for that one. And his buddy just the whole time was just rolling with him.
Do you ever have you ever seen his name is Fluffy? What's his name?
Oh yeah,
the comedian. Yeah. What's his name? Yeah, but when he got pulled over and he had a huge box of donuts on him, and he got pulled over and he's like, because you can smell them. Yeah, that is always remember. So so I've done a lot of shows in the past, like plays and stuff like that. And my wife and I were doing a cruise right after I got done doing a show with my son, Adam's Family. and I was Lurch because I guess Lurch is tall, and everyone else, I swear, who's acting is short. And I had to wear eyeliner and all this makeup and stuff, and I was going on a cruise the next day, so I had to hurry during the middle of the show, go to the and get my license renewed. And they're like, "Okay, so can you please take your glass off?" I'm like, "Oh no." Like, oh no. And so I look like I'm in drag on my license, and so I was going 60 in a 45. It was like midnight. I was not even paying attention. It was on me. Like I'm like, yeah, I know. I figured right when you pulled me over, I saw the lights. I'm like, oh, suck. I did, and I handed him the ticket or my license. I'm like, just don't judge me. Right when he saw it, he just busted up, started crying because it's that bad.
That's funny.
So, kind of what we were talking about with your wife, kind of, because you were a policeman, and you do a lot with your wife now with what you do with your woodworking channel. So, not a lot of couples have been married for 21 years. I'm like dead serious. So, what's your secret? Like, what makes you and your wife unique compared to most?
You got to put her first. And I'm not saying that I've always done that, because I'm guilty of not doing that, but try to put her first. And she tries to put me first, above everything outside that's going on. They're your focus. And if that's the case, a good friend of mine sent me a picture, and it's a picture it's a triangle, right? It's got you, your wife, God. And the closer you get up there, the closer y'all get together. And the closer you get away from him, the further away y'all get together. So I think that has a lot to do with it as well. So the main thing is,
I love that. No one's ever explained it that way before.
Yeah,
I really like that.
I'd never seen it either when he sent me it was just a triangle, simple. God, you, wife. It's like, makes sense.
Yeah. He goes, the key to a happy marriage is plenty of bacon.
That's right.
So, what happens? Like, I'm not trying to get into like super details of your marriage, but like, you guys, like I've noticed, like your backsplash. She was doing a lot of it, and so with her channel, seems like she's just fully involved just as much as you is.
She does a lot
shows with you.
Almost a lot of the furniture pieces we built that have been popular, she's designed them. She'll come up with a design and tell me this is what she wants. And as I build it, she'll tweak things and stuff like that. She's extremely good with that. She's also extremely good at staging things, which when I was selling products, she would, from the very first thing I built, she'd come home and saw it. And she's like, I want that. I'm like, I'm selling it. I'm making a business. And she said, okay. And so she got out there and set everything up and made it look like, instead of just a piece of wood, she made it pretty, and we took good pictures of it. And so she's really good at that. She's got a marketing degree, so she kind of understands that kind of stuff where I don't. And so she's always been there doing that kind of stuff. And then the backsplash, she wanted to remake that and then kind of update the house a little bit. And so she's always got her hands in it.
I think it's cool. I think it's pretty unique how close you two are, and for how long you've been together. I wanted to emphasize that just because I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, and another thing that I think is pretty cool, and I've noticed, I felt it. And I actually wrote this out because it was that important to me. Many are embarrassed or timid of their beliefs in God, especially in today's society. Like, you see people pull away when that type of conversations are coming. They just do that. And not that we're going to be talking about religion specifically, but your religion is extremely important to your life. Mm-hmm. And you're not timid about it. You're not timid about expressing it. You're not. You actually point that out in your channel. And why? Like, why are you that way? Like, what makes you so confident?
I don't know. It's probably. It's just the way I grew up. I wasn't raised in church. I wasn't, my mom and dad didn't go to church every day or every Sunday. We're Christians, but they didn't go. They just didn't. And so my buddy and he was going to church. He invited me to go on his three-wheeler. Back then we could ride three-wheelers. And he got me on his three-wheeler and drove me to church. And we did that for years. And I just go on because it was my buddy. I didn't understand anything going on. But my mom was addicted to prescription medication and had been since I was like 4. I never remember her not being addicted to it. And my dad was an over-the-road truck driver where he worked pipelines, so he was gone all the time. And I think I needed God to help me there, and he was always there for me. And you look back on your life and you can see where he directed you in certain ways if you pay attention. Like I was talking earlier about opening the doors for the careers I wanted, or even though I didn't know that I needed to get out of my dad's construction company. I didn't go to college. I didn't have any training of any kind. I was a construction worker, and he just started opening doors, and everything has worked out now. I don't know. I've always just kind of felt like Matthew 5:14 through 16, where he just talks about a city on a hill can't be hidden. You got to let your light shine, kind of thing. So we just kind of live that on the channel and in our life. And just, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything there is to know about Christianity. All I know is that I need to believe in Jesus, that he died on the cross for me, and he was raised again 3 days later. And John 3:16, that God so loved the world, he gave his only son. And so whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. And that's what I believe. And I don't know.
John 3:16, everyone quotes.
Right.
John 3:17 is my favorite.
Yeah.
So he's like, he didn't give his son to hurt it, but to save it.
Right.
And so I like that a lot, just because it talks about how, he's here to help us and not to hurt us. Right. And so that's why a lot of people, I always talk to people about Christianity and religion. Like I said, it's something that I really like to learn, overall, all religions. And I really do believe that if you live in your life according to your values of your religion, all that kind of stuff. I mean, like my dad always said, Heavenly Father is a perfect dad. More people are going to make it to heaven than you think, as long as you're doing it. But we'll switch because these guys didn't come to get lectured on religion or anything like that. So, Sam, I got your question as well as you, Jason. But so what got you into woodworking?
I really don't know. It's just something, I worked construction, and I'd always enjoyed the carpentry aspect of that. We done concrete, done some pipe fitting, some welding, stuff like that. But I just liked the carpentry aspect of it. And as a state trooper, I worked swing shifts. So a lot of times I was working evenings, and my wife and kids were gone to school. And I was sitting here one day and was on the YouTube and watched Jay Bates. He's another woodworking YouTuber, a pretty big one. And he had a set. I don't know why I even watched it. I don't even know what I was searching for, but I found his channel, and he had a set of chairs on there, outdoor chairs that you could build using his plans for free, just out of 2x4s and screws, and that's it. And so I was like, I think I can do that. And I got another YouTube channel that I don't do anything with, but it was bringing in like, I don't know, $100 every 6 months or something, like 3 months every 6 months, something like that. And we was broke, man, broke. And that check would come in. I would use that money for my toy money. So I would buy, something here or there with it. When that come in, I was like, I'm going to buy some wood with that. So I went up to town and got some 2x4s and built them. And that was the project. My wife come home, saw it. She's like, I want those. And I'm like, I'm selling these. And she staged them for me. And I guess the rest is history. It sold the next day or two. And I went and bought more stuff. And I done it as a side hustle, I guess you would say. It was just a way to make some extra money. Like I said, we just always been kind of paycheck to paycheck and just trying to make it. We had 3 kids, a house, cars.
Majority of America, man.
That's right. So I just wanted some extra money. I wanted to be able to take her out on a date. I wanted to be able to buy my kids something extra, or just
not
something extra. Yeah, and not take it out of bill money, basically. And so that's kind of the way I run the business. I would just, whatever I would make, if we didn't spend it on stuff like that, then I would just reinvest, and just save for whatever tool I wanted next. If I knew I needed a $600 table saw, it might take me 6 months to get there, but I would save a little at a time until I got there. Yeah.
Good for you, man. So we have a question from Sam. So woodworking is a hobby of mine. Do you make specific things like beds, for example, or do you make just about anything?
Well, now I make just about anything. Now we only make for the channel, so I don't actually sell anything right now. I would like to get to that point again where we could actually start selling things. But when I was selling things, I would make whatever. If they sent me a picture and I thought I could build it, I'd get after it. I didn't really turn a whole lot down. I've made beds before. I've made dog kennels, furniture.
So did
for
it
the
take
house.
you a while to figure it out? Were there a lot of trial and error, or have you always been, you see the blueprints, you see what you need to do, and you can do it?
Typically, I pretty much can just build it off of what I see. If they'll send me a picture of it, like a lot of times they'll just find a picture on Pinterest. You know how that is. They'll say, "Oh, I want something like that," and so I'll just say, "Okay, I can do that. Tell me what size you want it," and then I just go from there and build it to that whatever size they wanted of whatever they sent. So if it's an end table, just give me the dimensions and I'll go with a similar style and get it to you.
Dude, that's what I'm telling. We need to talk after. So Jason asks, Matt, what inspired you to want to do a show and help the world with woodworking and succeeding doing so?
Honestly, it's probably a little bit selfish because I was making a little bit of money on that other channel, $100 every 6 months or something. I was like, I could probably do that. Well, I started the channel in May of 17. I'd been woodworking since February, so I was real skilled, And so I put that channel up there, was wanting to get it monetized, and they changed they moved the goalpost, and it was when it was like 100 subscribers or something is all you needed to get monetized. Well, they changed it to 1,000, and it took me a long time. I was looking at my stats a while back, and it took us 3 months to get the first subscriber from May to August. Is that right? June, July, August. Yep, May to August to get one subscriber. So that's the main reason I started the channel, was to try to start generating some extra income along with the woodworking, and then it snowballed into what it is now, to where we can actually put content out that actually is valuable to people and helps people too.
Yeah, and it's actually like Bearded Pamper Chef. He just subscribed to you.
Thank you, man.
Seems like he's really impressed with the 236, which is that's no small feat, man.
It's been a climb.
How many videos do you have?
200 and something, close to 300 probably, live streams and all. It's so the subscriber rate was really slow up to 20,000 subscribers. That was in August of 20. So from May of 17 to August of 20, I was able to get 20,000 subscribers. And then I had one video, and I'll tell people that all the time, that one video could change your life. I had one video take off, and it went over me, top 5 woodworking projects that sell.
Oh,
and
okay.
It was 5 of my projects that were my best sellers. And so I put those out there, and all of those also had build videos, which helped drive that YouTube algorithm, because everybody was watching. They watched the 5 video, and then they would go watch build videos. And they was able to take those projects and sell for themselves. And that was right during the pandemic, everybody was at home. So I think it was kind of a perfect storm type thing for me. And that video took off, and we was at 100,000 subscribers in like 3 months after that. And then
that's amazing.
It's just been, between 15 and 20,000 a month is what we're gaining now. And that's been fairly consistent. It has dropped down to 5,000 or 6,000 in a month, and it'll come back up depending on what video is doing well and what's not. YouTube's funny, man. Sometimes you'll put something out and it'll just flop. Like, you're like, man, this is terrible. And then like 6 months later, all of a sudden you start getting comments on that video. You're like, what is going on? You go look at the analytics, and all of a sudden the thing is taking off, and who knows why. But
right.
It's pretty cool.
So do you do shorts at all?
Yes, they have been.
It's not even
awesome.
A question I was thinking about. I'm just kind of wondering how that works for you too.
Oh, I have had one short now is at 2 million views in just a couple months. That short alone has brought in 8,000 subs. So yeah, I've had another one hit, I think 400,000 views or something. The tips and tricks for the woodworking is a good short, because you can just do a real quick tip and people will watch it. And as long as, like on a short, if they don't watch the whole thing, or like 90 something percent of it, 97, 98% of it, then YouTube won't keep showing it in the shorts feed. So if you can get that watch time all the way through, whether it's a 15-second or a 60-second short, if they watch the whole thing, then they'll keep serving it on the shorts feed. And that, like James King's Fine Woodworking, he did research now. He sat down, he's like, okay, these are the shorts that are doing well. So I'm going to make one based off my research on what type's doing well, what keeps people's interest. He did one, it's like 5 million views in just a few weeks. So he's wow. Yeah, he really broke it down. and made sure he done exactly like tell a story or show a tip or trick that they need to watch all the way to the end to understand. And that'll just drive views. And of course, when somebody subs on a short, the next time they go to their YouTube on their phone or their computer,
it's all right there.
You're going to show up in their home feed because they just subscribe to you. Just no different than when you subscribe to somebody. You'll start getting served their videos, and if people start watching, they'll start serving more. It's just
So I've watched quite a bit of yours, and that reminds me, when I started getting in the bearded community and I started looking at bearded grooming trips and stuff like that, all of a sudden I found, there's a guy named Scuba where I'd follow him from BeardTube. And then all of a sudden I saw Dan C. Bearded and I watched all of his stuff. And then I saw Kyle and Joe and then I saw all these guys, and it's a trickle down effect. And so I've noticed since I've subscribed to you, there's a lot more of that stuff going on. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. But, quick for E-Rock, he wants to know your YouTube channel, and just so you know, if you actually go to the description, it'll have his bio, and underneath it will have his Instagram and YouTube. And if there's any other things that you want them to click on, let me know, and Matt, and we can put those on too.
No, that's all good right there.
And then we have Nicholas. He asked you a question. He's like, what did you start out as in your construction job?
Go-getter, gopher. Yeah, when I graduated high school, that was my first job out of high school. Other than that, we got tomato farms. So I'd worked in the tomato farms from like 14 to 16, 17 years old. And then I went to the grocery store, was bagging groceries until I graduated high school. And then when I graduated high school, my dad was a welder. So I went to work with him and just get that. Just common labor, just working.
Yeah, these guys are asking lots of questions. Oh, we got a motorcycle with this thing. I don't know if you can hear it or not. His radio's blaring. So we kind of talked about you starting, but was it just what initially you were talking about? You're making $100 every 6 months from that other channel and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. What made you start just thinking about? Because for the life of me, I never thought I'd ever be doing a stream on YouTube. And I remember thinking to myself, my son, who loves, at the time, he loves Fortnite. Now he likes other things. But he loves video games. He loves watching people stream, watching video games. I'm like, this is stupid. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden I'm doing it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, my son could actually do this for a living. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, holy crap. Like this, who's that Fortnite guy who makes $1 million? He just won $1 million. And I'm just like,
it's crazy.
Yeah. And so what made you do that one first video? Like what was it? Just and if you said it, I apologize, and I was reading comments.
No,
I don't think you said it.
On the other channel, it's called Monitoring Reviews. I had radio scanners. I was huge into radio scanners for a while. I was actually got to where I was testing scanners for Uniden, which makes the mostly all the scanners. And so I was doing videos on those reviews, but I was so scared to get on camera that you didn't see me. And there's several videos on there I wouldn't even talk. I was just showing the radio on the and then I slowly started talking, but I was real monotone. I was turning the dial, and so that's kind of how, if you watch my first video on YouTube, is the same way. It's showing two different sanders, and I'm behind the camera and talking real low, monotone, and I'm just showing the things. I didn't want to be in front of the camera. I was too scared of it. And then the next video, somebody, I think Marquise Brownlee is a huge YouTuber, tech reviewer. He says you have to everybody needs to make 100 bad videos before they start understanding what's going on. And that's, I can go with that, because it just takes a while to get comfortable on camera. That takes a long time. It's very intimidating to start. And it's just, I don't know what made me do the first one. I think my wife and I talk about it all the time. When I went to troop school, we couldn't communicate. So there was no phone calls or nothing like that. So I made her enough videos to last her 21 weeks while I was gone. So I would record the video, and she could watch 1 or 2 videos a week, depending on how far in. I was going to do 2 videos a week, and then as I went along, it's like, that's a lot. So trying to get them pre-recorded. So at the end, it was like 1 video a week she could watch midweek. And then, so it was just about for life or whatever, And I think that's kind of kick-started me making videos, because that was the first time I'd ever done anything like that.
Yeah, I just know it's crazy how much money, like literally, there is to be made online.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told my son, I'm like, "Yep, let's do it. You can do it now." And I was just worried about predators and stuff like that. I'm like, "You can turn your chat off. You can do all that kind of stuff." And I'm like, "But hey, Nick, just so you know, on my phone, I cannot scroll up like I usually can. And so if you ask a question, I apologize for missing it, but I can't see it. So if you would re-ask it, I'll definitely ask him that question. So I apologize. I'm just making sure I'm not missing any questions from anyone, because there really are. So this is good timing. I'm watching how to make wood tables. So there you go. He's going to subscribe, and I'm sure you have some of those questions for you. So so we talked about a little bit about, your first one, you didn't even show your face. And then you slowly started showing your face, and you practice with your wife, doing videos with your wife and stuff like that. How else have you grown in your content? Because now you look at it, it looks professional to me. Like,
well, I started out,
it's amazing.
Well, it takes time and money, that's all it is.
It does.
I started out using my phone, just a regular iPhone, whatever the model was at the time. And the audio wasn't that great. So I started researching that and on YouTube, and come across, I think Media, probably one of the bigger channels I watched a lot to help me up my game, I guess you'd say. And I would take that mic. They were talking about a mic you could use to plug into your phone and get better audio. So that was the main thing I started with. And I use my phone for a year and a half or 2 years probably. And I finally saved up enough. After I got tools enough, I was like, okay, now that I got the tools, I'm going to buy a camera. And so I bought a Canon M50, it's not a really expensive camera, but for me at the time, it was like a big deal because it was like $800 for a camera. I'm like, oh my goodness.
No, I still think that's a lot of money.
I'm like, wow, that's just for a camera. And so, but it did help, because once I bought that, I bought like a little shotgun mic to go on top. And then over the time, I got some Rode wireless mics. Makes woodworking a lot easier, because I can actually walk around without having to worry about that cable getting hung on things. And that gives you a little better audio, and it's just lighting, getting better lighting, things like that. Stuff just takes time, and a lot of, like, there's so much stuff out there. How do you know what's right? So I watch tons of videos on how to do it, how to set up lighting. And I'm still not where I want to be. I still want to, I just ordered a new camera, so I want to get some better lighting. I'm just trying to grow.
Well, this is your full-time job now, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So for anyone, there's a lot of people really interested in creating content, or really started wanting to review mostly beard products, or stuff like that. What advice would you give anyone who's wanting to start their own YouTube channel?
Push record. There's some people say you got to research everything to death and all. Just start making videos. You'll find your lane, because the only way to get better at riding a bike is to ride it. The only way to get better at baseball is to play it. The only way to get better at football is to play it. The only way to get better at woodworking is to do it. So the only way to get better at making videos is to make them, and just start posting them. You're going to get some haters, probably not at first. Most of the time when you first start, you're not going to get a whole lot of comments. Don't worry about who's watching. Don't worry about how many views you're getting. Just start making videos, and then just start watching other people, how they make their videos. If you like a certain creator, just kind of see how they're doing things, the camera shots they're using, things like that. And then you can start like I do. Like I'll watch tons of videos on editing, camera movement, camera work, stuff like that. Just try to figure out how they're doing certain things, how they're getting that good looking shot on a tool or a product, how to do better lighting, how to, just stuff like that. I'm constantly trying to learn how to do that stuff. I got a long way to go, but I don't know, I guess I just like challenges.
No, there's a skill set when it comes to filming B-roll and stuff like that. That's for sure. You'll see some B-roll and you're like, dang, that is looking good. Like, how do they do that?
Well, thing, like, some people may watch you just stand there or just kind of like a live stream. You won't get as many people watch a live stream as you do watch a regular video, because most people don't just want to sit and watch people talk. So if you think about that when you make your video, if I go out and review a saw, you don't want to sit there and watch me hold the saw and talk the whole time. You're going to want to see the product. So I do close-up videos, kind of slower shots. I'll slow down the footage to kind of make it look a little more dramatic or cinematic, as they call it. Good lighting, close-ups, and
what
using the tool
do you use for editing?
Final Cut Pro. I was using DaVinci Resolve for a long time. It's free. That's why I was using it. It worked great. But it was really dragging down my laptop because I had a Dell XPS or something. And it's really, anytime you starting to add graphics and things like that, a lot of computers get really bogged down. And I wound up buying a MacBook Pro M1 chip.
A lot of people do, I've heard.
And when I got that in Final Cut, it's like night and day. It's lightning fast. I don't have any like lagging and jittering, anything like that. It just works well. For 1080p, that's all I'm filming in 1080p right now. So I don't know if 4K is going to slow it down much. I've heard it does it, so we'll see.
Yeah, I have no idea about that. You're talking to a guy who everything's 1080 or 720. Yeah. I have the StreamYard that's 720. So
all of our streams are in 720 also.
Okay. So now, because Copper John's, we are a beard grooming company and stuff like that. So let's talk a little bit about your beard and your beard journey. So you just recently started growing a beard. Tell us why.
I'm a baby in the beard community. Okay, I just this is the most facial hair I've ever had in my life. I'm 44 years old. I had never grown, other than some scruff, here and there. I'd never grown any until I quit policing, and I don't know. I just got tired of shaving every day. You shave every day for 15 years, and I just let it go. And my wife's like, "Ooh, I like that." I'm like, "Here we go." I just let it grow. Of course, I got some patches, that's hereditary.
I do too.
I guess. And it doesn't grow real good right here, but I try to keep it kind of trimmed up a little bit. And
well, with you and the drills, I would imagine it has to be a little bit shorter than most, just to be a little safe. I would imagine.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to hang it down and get caught in them.
Yeah, but with everyone, I mean, that's why I always say be proud of who you are, and that's kind of one of my mottos is just grow what you got and love it, because you're the one who has it.
That's right,
dude. That's an old school. Sorry. Some of these cars in California are crazy awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the patchiness, I've learned that as your hair grows and you get a little longer and stuff, it actually covers up the patches, and that's kind of where I'm at right now.
At first, it bothered me, especially when it first started growing. I was like, man, I started. That's how I found you. I started researching stuff, and I come across several companies promising me the world. They could send me this little thing and roll on it and make it poke and make hair grow there and take these pills and I'm like, I don't know, that just doesn't sound right. So that's why I messaged you. I don't know if you remembered I messaged you. Somebody commented on my live stream. It may have been Jason. And he said he suggested on Beaver. And Jay Esser. And somebody said to reach out to you. So I did on Instagram. I'm like, man, does this stuff work? And you're like, it's mostly snake oil.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's just how it works. Is that there's a lot of companies out there. I won't say anything about that, but
yeah. But I was like, what do I need? And you're like, get these things to start with. And that's what I ordered, and so far so good.
Yeah. If you have a healthy skin, you have healthy hair, your hair is going to be able to, obviously there's multivitamins, there's biotin, there's collagen, there's zinc, there's magnesium, there's things that you can take that won't help necessarily. Well, it will not help, create the hair where the hair is not at, but it will help speed the process. So if you want to cover your patches, that's usually sometimes someone will take biotin to help increase the speed and stuff like that. But I'm just reading some of these. I've got On the Rocks.
That's my favorite
right now for the first time. Love that thing. Thanks, man.
Yep, that's the one I use every day.
My wife actually came up with that one.
Really? My wife loves it.
Yeah. She came up with Last Cast, that, and it's my anniversary scent called One. And so she actually, just like your wife, my wife is just involved.
Yeah.
And everyone says having a business actually pulls away your, like, truthfully, they say it pulls away your marriage because you're so stressed and all that kind of stuff, which we are. But we work together so much that we've become even closer, which is crazy to me. But that's us. How? So I'm reading all the questions. So how has oil, butter, and overall beard care helped? So what's your beard routine, and how has it helped?
So it just makes it softer. You know, it doesn't itch as much. So usually I got On the Rocks oil and On the Rocks butter. Is it butter, right? And so
Yeah.
I do the oil, get it on the skin, you know, and then I'll take that butter and just if you rub it real fast, it warms up pretty quick. And
Yes,
just
it does.
wipe it in there, and then I got a comb. I'll comb it straight and let her bump. I do that in the mornings, and that's really the only time I ever put it on.
All right.
My wife put that because I was using it right after the shower at night, and my pillow started looking a little oily, so I had to stop using it at night.
I was watching one of your lives. I'm like, dude, you need a satin or silk pillowcase. And then also I'm like, you might be using too much too.
I probably will.
We all do. Like, we all do. So it happens. God, distracted to hit the wrong cigarette. I don't know what that means. Sorry, man. Russ loves you too, right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who just followed you all of a sudden. All right, so we're getting to that time. I'd like to only do an hour because your time is important, and you have family and you have dinner here shortly. But I love doing stupid would you rather questions. It gets us to know a little bit about you. Some are fun, some are stupid. Just go with it. All right. So if you guys want to answer these with us, that's great. Also, if you guys have any more questions for Matt, please let me know, and we'll definitely get Matt to answer those. So would you rather live on the beach or in a cabin in the woods?
On the beach.
Really? What about your wife?
On the beach.
Really?
We love the beach.
Man, see, I'm 100% in the woods.
On the beach or cabin in the woods? On the beach. Yeah.
On the beach. There you go. Would you rather be feared by all or loved by all?
Loved by all.
Loved by all. We got cabin. We got cabin. Cabin in the woods near the beach. Cabin in the woods. Cabin. See, you're outdueled.
I'm outnumbered.
Everyone wants the cabin.
I could vacation to the cabin.
Oh, everyone can. But the beach is nice. Like, you know, but if I had a choice, I think I would rather go to Island Park in Wyoming or in Idaho. So
the only if I was going to live on the beach, it would have to be where it wasn't like huge tourism there. We go to Destin, Florida about every year, and it's like the traffic is insane. Just for the beach.
Just for the beach, yeah. Yeah, I think maybe that's why I'm not a huge fan, because I love, like, we went to Oceanside this year, and it was just so packed. It was just like, not very fun.
Yeah.
There's just kids everywhere. I'm like, not kids, like, kids to me is like college and high school kids. And I'm just like, oh, you're so annoying.
I never acted like that, I promise.
Yeah, right? All right. Would you rather never get angry or never be envious?
That's a good one.
Right?
Angry. I think you do some dumb stuff when you're angry.
Okay. Just one sec. Been in law enforcement correction for 22 years, but been out for the last 4 years due to a couple injuries, requiring surgeries, thinking bailing out soon, and ran a lunch truck. Oh, nice.
Good luck.
They say never get angry, and he would say in the woods. He says angry. See, and I'm envious.
Yeah.
But the thing is I don't lose my temper very much.
I don't either. But
no, you remind me of someone who never would. But I do. I have found myself, like, you know, like beat the Joneses and all that kind of stuff. And I've seen, like, sometimes where my family gets a nicer house, and you're like, oh, you know, like, not that we live in a crap hole or anything. It's just more of a.
I think that's natural. I think everybody's kind of
be nice.
Like, man, I'd like to have that or whatever, you know.
Yeah. And so mine is envious because I would rather just always be happy for everyone, and which I am after the fact, after I get a little jealous. All right, so this one's for you, but your wife has to answer. Would you rather have to listen to only Justin Bieber or only Ariana Grande for the rest of your life?
I'll take Bieber since he's just become a Christian. He's been singing some Christian songs, so I can listen to that.
I gotta sneeze. Dang it. Oh, shoot. It's right at the tip of my nose. There it goes.
Bless you.
All right. My kids watch this dumb show that's on Netflix or on Disney Plus or whatever with Ariana Grande, and I absolutely hate it. And
the one where she got the screechy voice.
Yeah, and she plays really stupid.
My kids used to watch that all the time.
Is it like Victorious or something like that?
Uh-huh.
And Justin Bieber, I hate to like him, but he has some of those songs you're just like, dang it. Oh yeah, thanks, E. Excuse me. I can't choose. I could listen to both. All right, Ellie. Beebs. All right. Would you rather be the funniest person in the room or the smartest person in the room?
Probably the smartest. I don't know though. I go with funniest. I can always learn something. Yeah,
that's true. I never see.
They always
say that's actually a really good answer.
They actually say you shouldn't be the or if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, kind of thing.
That's like a crazy good answer. See, I was always thinking I would love to be the smartest, but now I want to be the funniest because that makes sense. There's always dude, that's a great answer. I love that answer.
Thank you.
See, you changed my mind. Would you rather live in the world where you dance instead of walk or sing instead of talk?
Sing instead of talk. I always want to be able to sing. That'd been awesome.
Right.
I can sing real good when I'm working out there in the shop, as long as my earphones are in. But when I watch it back on video, I have to cut those parts out. I'm like, I didn't sound like that earlier.
That's some of the things I did when I was engaged to Candace, my wife Candace. We would actually, all these guys are saying smartest, funniest, funniest. See, now you talked them into funniest. We would used to have earbuds, and we would do that thing where we actually had a cassette recorder. That's how old I am. And we would record ourselves singing songs and stuff like that. It was stupid things that were cheap because you're a poor college kid. But yeah, so does anyone have any questions for Matt before we take off? It's been that hour, and so I just want to make sure that he has time with his family tonight and his Sunday. So I really do appreciate you, Matt, coming on. It's very, very brief. I know that. But I just wanted everyone to get to know you. It seems like you got a few amount of good subscribers that are following you a lot, actually. Some of these guys are building tables right now as we speak.
I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate them for subscribing to the channel.
So is there anything that you would like to tell anyone?
No, I just
take off.
I just appreciate it. If y'all have any woodworking questions, feel free to reach out. You can message me on Instagram, Facebook, or just go to the YouTube channel. I try to reply to the comments as much as possible, but it is getting a little overwhelming. So if you really need the answer, just message me on social, and I'll be able to get back to you.
So Brett asked the question: are you bald by choice or because you're losing it?
That's a choice, right? It'll grow a little. It'll grow a little, but it really starts like it's back here. So I was like, I've always been the type. I'm like, I'm not gonna be that guy. This guy's the hair right here, and I always told my wife because my hair's always been thin. I was like, if it starts going, it's gone, and so I just keep it shaved because I don't want it to be back here. I don't want it to like have half a head of hair. I'm like, nah.
So what do you use to shave your head? Now that I'm curious.
What's the name of that place? I'd love to tell you. It's a little handheld thing. They send me emails all the time. Want me to buy more blades. I can't remember. Man.
So do you shave in the shower or do you shave in the mirror? Yeah. In front of the mirror?
No, shower. It's a little electric thing. It's got like 5 heads
skull shaver?
Yeah, it's got like 5 little spinny heads on it. I don't do the straight razor thing. I wound up having a pimple back there or something. Cut that thing off.
Right.
But I just
so
that thing takes like
the beard butter. Have you ever used the beard butter on your head?
Yeah. When I do in the morning, I'll grease one little swipe, and then I'll take a rag and wipe it, and it's shiny all day.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people use that.
Mm-hmm.
Being bald is more aerodynamic than having hair.
Run fast.
I've asked my wife if I can shave my hair, and she won't.
Freedom Grooming. Freedom Grooming. That's right. That's who does it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so he uses skull. There's a lot of us older guys. We like to we start to bald, and I'm starting to get the crow's feet. Like my hair used to end like right here, like I'm losing it. And my wife says she won't let me shave it. I'm like, please. It's just getting to that point. I need to get me a skull shaver. Yeah,
I haven't. I've never saw those skull shaver. I have to look into those because the Freedom one's like it's just okay. That's not one that I would just be. I got it because I found it, searching for one, and it's just been okay.
Brett uses it too. That's what he says. So, and he looks great. So, well, awesome, Matt. I appreciate it. Again, guys, if you want to save 15%, feel free to use Matt's code, which is 731, which is crazy easy to remember. Is 731 your area code?
It is my wife and I's anniversary. We were trying to figure out how to
July 31st.
Yep. We were trying to figure out how to come up with a business name, and 731's everywhere. We've used it. There's like decorations or 731. We both got a tattoo with 731 on it. It's just the day we met.
Awesome.
We met on July 31st, 99, and then we married on July 31st, 2000, a year later. So that's just it's been our date.
That's actually really, really cool. See, I thought it was just an area code or something.
A lot of people do. A lot of people think it's like Eastern Tennessee's area code 731. So a lot of people message me and say, "Hey, I see. Are you in Eastern Tennessee? I want you to make me something."
So she uses Flawless Touch Razor. See, everyone's telling us, which ones you need to use.
Okay. I'll check them out.
Yeah, what's up, Dave? This is Dave, Kansas City Beard. Obviously, he's a fan of the Raiders. So
yeah.
Actually, I just drove past because we from Utah we drove into Las Vegas to California, and we drove past what is it? I can't remember the stadium's name, but anyway, drove past that stadium, and holy crap, it's nice.
I forgot they moved that to Vegas.
Yeah, Allegiant Stadium, that's what it was. And it's right across from it. So there's this, and then it looked like it was MGM, right across the street from it. So it was really nice, all black. But I'm a huge Saints fan. So do you like football?
No, I haven't watched it in years.
There you go. Yep. Well, awesome, man. I appreciate you. If you ever need to reach out to Matt, please feel free to eat. Worthless Statham. Sorry, just threw me off. If you need to reach out to Matt, I do know Matt has an IG. Again, it's in the description. And just go ahead and follow him if you want. Ask him any questions when it comes to that. If you ask a question, it might actually be a topic for another video that he does. So it's always worth asking and asking for help because Matt is a stud. He is willing to help out. I do that for a fact. So, Matt, I appreciate you. And everyone, you have a wonderful night. I'm going to go find out where our hotel is. All right. Take care, guys.